Welcome to Unit 4 of How to Protect Your Business. In this unit, we'll be discussing virtual private networks. In this unit, we're going to talk about the value of being anonymous whilst you're online, ways of accessing other countries' information, and recommendations for software that you can use for your VPN. Now, it's important to know this is a more advanced level of security to consider. So, if you're a beginner and still getting your head around the other 3 units, you may want to put this one aside for some time, whilst you get clear on the other elements of online security. So, being anonymous. VPN is a technology that's used to add security and anonymity to private and public networks. They have the advantage of not only securing the traffic between your computer and the servers, but also masking your IP address and location. So one of the things that you may want to consider is VPNs are a great way to get access to content that may not be looked on favourably to download. I'm trying to say that nicely. So I'll give you a little story. When my boys were teenagers, they liked to download movies. Now, that's not actually legal to do. A lot of people do it, and a lot of people are comfortable with it. It's your own choice. Now, in the last year or two, we've heard more examples of people actually getting fined for doing that. So if that's the sort of thing that you do and you hadn't really thought about it, then having a VPN in place and active when you're doing those downloads, then you are anonymous while you do it. So that protects you. So that's something that we set up with our teenagers is we said, we prefer you not to download movies, but if you do it, you must make sure your VPN is switched on before you do it, so that we knew that they were protected and weren't going to get in trouble. Now, the other thing with VPNs is there are free and paid options, so different levels of accountability. So one of the free versions is actually a Chrome browser extension. So I'm sure you could access this in other browsers. So Hola is a simple VPN. It's a great beginner option. It allows you to access other countries' data. So you might have websites you might have websites that are blocked or censored in your country or your company or even at a school, and this is a proxy service, so this will allow you. So what I did as an example is I went to the American CBS television channel, and I tried to watch something. And as you can see in the red text, the video have been requested is not available for your geographic area. So then Hola jumps in and goes, well, hey, do you want to tell us? You want us to tell the website that you're actually in the United States? And then it would allow me to watch that video. Now you need to remember that this is a free service, and as I said, it's a great beginner option if you're wanting to work out how to use VPNs. But always remember, when something is free, you are the product, and the service that you're accessing, like Hola, is likely to be collecting data about your online habits. So what does that mean, you ask? Well, I'll give you a story. I use a service in my email called unroll.me. So all the newsletters that I subscribe to, instead of coming in individually in my email, I get one email per day with everyone that's come in. So when you're someone like me that's always looking for what's happening and what's new, you can have a lot of subscriptions to newsletters, etc. So it can get pretty full. But what happened with Unroll.me is whilst they were saying they weren't releasing your information, what they were doing is they were tracking the way you used your internet when you were accessing their service, and they were sharing that data as a group usage rather than, so it wasn't my individual data that was shared. This is the general usage, and they were sharing with that with other companies to help them think about how they actually get access to us so that we'll look at their information. So that caused quite some uproar recently when people discovered that they felt that their privacy had been breached, and they felt that Unroll.me had not been honest. But in actual fact, Unroll.me is a free service. They've got to make money somehow to keep going. So, it's the sort of service I would happily pay a small amount for, but they choose to keep it free. So that's what I mean when you choose to access a free service like Hola is a free VPN. That's a choice that you need to be aware that you are making. Okay, so going on to paid services. What I've got here is an image for you, and it just helps to explain how a VPN works. So we'll just go through. So the little red section we've got is what happens when you don't have your VPN. So this image is taken from the software that I recommend called Private Internet Access. So that's why we've got the little without private internet access or with private internet access. So normally what happens is you've got your computer and you've got an address. Your computer has an address. Every single computer has an address just to identify them. Your data goes up into the internet. It's not encrypted or protected, and that goes onto the internet. So someone somewhere else on the internet, anywhere else in the world, can see where you're coming from and who you were. So this example is assuming that your PC is in the States. That's where you live. Now, if you use a VPN, what you do get is you've got the same address for your computer, but your data is encrypted as it goes out into the internet, and your IP address is hidden and your location is changed. So the internet in this example thinks that you're in Switzerland and you've got a whole different computer address. So that protects, that gives you anonymity. So what are some of the actual softwares that I recommend? So there is PIA, Private Internet Access. I've had a couple of other recommendations in recent times, and one is Nord, N-O-R-D VPN, and CyberGhost VPN. Those two were recommended to me by two gentlemen that work in technology and understand quite comprehensively what VPN's all about. So that gives you three to research if you want to have a look at that. I will be doing a how-to video and show you how to set up PIA as in the second video, but you may like to follow that video to give you some idea, and then you on your research may choose a different one if you decide to go ahead with setting up a VPN. And finally, I just wanted to cover off, it can give you different levels of security. So, for example, I'll give you a little story. When I first set it up, just set it up so that the system would automatically say I was somewhere else. What I discovered is one day it set it up and said I was in Japan. So then Google decided it should talk to me in Japanese. And I went, oh, that's not going to work. I only speak one language. So I can actually set the levels so that it is only Australian speaking countries, or I may choose to set it so that it's only in Australia, so somewhere else in Australia. So I might be situated in Melbourne and the internet thinks that I'm in Adelaide or Perth. So it just protects me a little bit more. Okay, so that is everything that I have for you today on VPNs. Again, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to follow along on this unit, and feel free, if you have any questions, to ask me through Dynamite Management's Facebook page. And if you're interested in working more closely with me, please feel free to contact me by email or by the phone number that's on this page. Thank you very much for your time.